welcome to the LeggLife Podcast. My name is Adam.
My name is Sherry.
Sherry Beth, what episode is this?
157.
157. And just so you guys know, we are currently cuddled up together on a love seat at the, what is it called?
Susitna River Lodging.
That's right. Susitna River Lodging here in Talkeetna, Alaska. We are here for my birthday weekend getaway.
Yeah.
Recording this lovely podcast for you guys. And just before we started recording, we looked up, and this is crazy, over 130,000 downloads of the LeggLife Podcast since we started. That's a lot.
That's a lot.
For something that we put off for years and years and has now become one of our favorite pieces of content we create every week.
Yeah.
I love the fact that you guys listen. So thank you so much for tuning in every single Saturday. And this week we are mostly talking birthdays.
Birthday, because it's your birthday.
Birthday, because it's my birthday. Tomorrow on Sunday, I turn 45 years old. I have made it halfway to 90.
I'm still 43.
You are still 43.
So we have entered the 6 months of the year where we are 2 years apart.
Yep, that's exactly right.
We are almost exactly 18 months apart.
You're so young. You're a spry young...
I'm just a baby.
You're a spry young chick, and I'm basically on the verge of death. And I'm a decrepit old man.
Nope.
Well, I'm not going to lie.
Feel like it some days.
I was just going to say, definitely feel like it some days. Excited to show you guys the vlog of this trip. We've never stayed here at these places before. Beautiful view of the Susitna River out the window. Yeah. It's just lots of wood. It's just beautiful. It's cozy.
Yep.
I'm a fan.
I'm a fan.
All right, Sherry. Yeah. We're going to start. You know what? We're going to start with cake.
Oh, okay.
It is.
I'm a fan.
Okay. What if that was all? What if that was just a podcast? Okay, everybody. Thanks for listening.
We like cake.
We like cake. The end.
Bye.
Okay, bye. That's the entire podcast. Obviously, it wouldn't be a birthday celebration, in my opinion, without cake.
Without cake. Yep.
It is the traditional birthday dessert. You gather around, you light the candles, you blow it out.
And I'm going to be real honest here. I had grand aspirations of getting you a German chocolate cake, or at least a piece of German chocolate cake with a candle, and bringing it out here with us. And I completely dropped the ball on that. So...
Perfect.
Sorry about that.
Great. So my birthday, I will not be having this wonderful dessert that we are talking
We're going to try to find you something, and we'll still be in town on your birthday.
Yeah, we're going to find cake. I'm not even worried about that. All right, so Sherry, there are lots of cakes out there, lots of options.
Yep.
If you watched a vlog recently, we made a birthday cake for a friend of ours, Allison.
A marble cake.
Yep, that's what she wanted. She wanted a marble cake, which I had never really heard of, certainly hadn't made. And
I made it.
And it was amazing.
It was so good, right?
At Allison's birthday party, lots and lots of positive comments about the cake you made.
Yeah, a lot of people were shocked that I made it.
Yeah, because it was so good. Sherry Beth, what is your go-to cakes? There's lots of different cakes. There's lots of different frostings. There's lots of different options.
Yeah.
If you could pick your birthday cake, what would you choose?
I'm a fan of like the oddball cakes that not many people like.
Okay.
Like lemon cake.
You do love a lemon cake.
Or like a strawberry cake.
Okay.
I do like just chocolate cake or vanilla cake. And so I feel like that's usually what we get, especially if we have a birthday. Like if I celebrate my birthday with other people, because not many people like, lemon cake with lemon frosting. And so we tend to get birthday cakes that everybody will like, not just me.
Interesting. I think that is probably true because your cake taste is outside of the ordinary.
Yep.
However...
And I do still like just, typical birthday cakes.
Who doesn't?
So, right. Cake is cake, and I love it.
You did get a lemon cake for one of your birthdays.
I sure did. I got it for my 38th birthday, I think. And my friends Amanda and Brandolyn kind of, engineered this... buying of this cake. It was actually made by I forget who, but a professional. It was a unicorn cake, lemon cake, and you were actually out of town for it, so you talked to my friends and made sure that they took care of me.
I was just gonna say, I was like, you just gave Amanda and Brandolyn the credit for the lemon cake.
Well, yeah. So,
wow,
you engineered the whole scheme because you were out of town.
And I wasn't there, and so I wanted you to have the kind of cake you wanted.
Yep, so they took me out to dinner with a whole bunch of my other girlfriends. We had a girls' night, and they brought out this unicorn cake, and it was amazing.
And it was lemon.
It was lemon.
I cannot believe you gave them credit for my hard work as a husband to get you the cake that you wanted.
Thanks, lovies. I'm sorry.
They were just the conduit of blessing.
All right. Well.
Wow, Sherry.
Adam engineered for my friends to get me this wonderful cake.
Thank you. Okay, so between the traditional cakes, chocolate or vanilla, which would you choose?
Vanilla.
Okay, between the frostings, chocolate or vanilla?
Ooh, I still like vanilla, but I am never ever gonna like turn away a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting.
But you would choose a vanilla cake with vanilla frosting.
If the two of them were in front of me, I'm choosing the vanilla. Yeah.
Do you have a preference on? Because obviously there's buttercream frosting, there's whipped frosting, there's cream cheese frosting.
I'm not really a huge fan of cream cheese frosting.
Yeah.
I feel like for me, it's just really rich. And so I feel like I can have like 2 bites and I'm done.
Okay, that's fair.
And I want something that I can have like the whole piece.
Yeah.
And so like something that's really rich, I tend to eat less of, which is probably good, but like I enjoy cake and I want to be able to eat it. So
it's really funny because this is, and I think we've talked about this on the podcast before, this is one of the areas that Sherry and I are very different in our approach to desserts.
Yeah.
Because
the richer, the sweeter, the better for you.
Oh yeah. I have never in my life had a dessert where I'm like, ooh, that's too rich.
Yeah, too sweet.
A lot of desserts are that way for you.
I have a very low tolerance for sweets.
I think I got all of your sweet tolerance.
I think so.
So for
You're
me,
very sweet.
No, that was very sweet. See, we're just going to keep going with the sweet compliments. I think that for me, so my favorite cake would be a German chocolate cake. Mm-hmm. Love coconut, love chocolate. It's very sweet. It's very rich. That would be my preferred cake. I also love a carrot cake.
I do not like carrot cake.
You don't like coconut?
I don't like coconut. And so, yeah, like your favorite cakes, I just don't really like. I won't eat a carrot cake. I'll have bites, but I don't tend to really like it. The German chocolate, if I can scrape off the icing that has the coconut and just eat the chocolate cake, then I'll be fine. But
the icing is the best.
But it has the coconut.
Correct.
Why would you ruin it with coconut?
Why would you not make it better with coconut? That's my question. So yeah, German chocolate would be my favorite. Mm-hmm. If I had to choose between a chocolate cake or a vanilla cake, I'm choosing chocolate all the time.
Every time.
If I have to choose frosting chocolate or vanilla, I'm choosing chocolate.
Yeah.
So I would have a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting. I agree with you. I'm not I don't dislike cream cheese frosting, but if I had to choose, it'd be like a whipped frosting, like a whipped, just kind of chocolate frosting, chocolate cake, so sweet that it makes your teeth hurt.
See, and I don't like that.
Happy birthday to me when I'm in pain from how sweet something is. like torture me with your sweets.
Oh man,
that is absolutely what I want.
Yeah.
As far as your cake, like I'm not a big lemon fan in general.
I know, and most people aren't, and so I tend to not get lemon cakes for my birthday just because I can't share it with anybody.
It's a good point. Mm-hmm. Now let's talk birthdays. Birthday memories, birthday traditions. Mm-hmm. Sherry, when you think about birthdays that you've had throughout your life, we're not going to go one by one. Okay, tell me about your first birthday.
I've had 43 birthdays.
Yep, you had 43. What are the ones or the few that kind of stand out and tell us why?
So the first one that came to mind was actually my 18th birthday. And I think it's the first time that I actually kind of felt like an adult. And I was turning 18, which, technically means you're an adult, I guess.
Yeah.
I, at 43, feel like I know less about adulthood than I did at 18. But I feel like I'm worse at being an adult. But I just remember
You think you're worse at being an adult at 43 than you were at 18? I feel like I
struggle to adult. Yeah. I don't want to.
More than you did when you were 18?
I feel like I was very, I was still in school. I turned 18 in October of my senior year of high school. And I was very, regimented, and I had my routine, and I had things that I was doing. I had a job. I had, and specifically my 18th birthday, I just remember, and this had been kind of the trend for most of my senior year of high school, but I was the first one awake. In our house of, there were 4 of us at the time, my parents and my younger brother. And I I was the first one awake, and I took a shower, and I ate my breakfast, and I worked out on the treadmill, and I was like ready for school before anybody else even really got up. And the way that we did birthdays growing up is the whole family would like come into the room singing happy birthday and like give you your cards and your gifts and whatever. And I was like ready to go for the day before anybody else was even awake. And so like I have a photo of me sitting on my bed because I had to go back to bed for them to come in and sing me happy birthday. And I'm fully dressed and like, it's just like, I don't know. And so like that birthday specifically, I just kind of remember thinking, oh, like I've got this adult thing. This is going to be great.
Interesting.
And yeah, and like now I'm like 43 and I'm like dragging myself out of bed every morning and I'm like, oh.
I think that's because you're 43.
Well, that's probably a big part of it.
Let's be very honest.
I'm old and I'm tired.
Yep.
Yeah, but so like I just remember that birthday.
Okay, what else?
My 30th birthday was a ton of fun. You threw me a pink birthday.
I did.
And so everybody that you invited people from like all aspects of my life. So like work friends and bosses and church friends and you just kind of like a ton of different people. And, it was at Sub-Zero, which is a bar in town.
Like a cocktail lounge.
You had them like create a special cocktail for me for my 30th birthday. Also pink. Everybody had to wear pink. And it was a ton of fun. I just remember that being a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I remember really not being happy about turning 30.
30 was a tough one for you.
30 was a tough one for me. And more so than 40. And I mean, there's other, extenuating circumstances around my 40th birthday. And we can talk about that in a minute. But like my 30th birthday, I felt like my age, like I was getting older, but I was stuck. And I don't know. There was just something about my 30th birthday. I felt like this is just the beginning of the end. And I was like, like it was just really, and you were really excited about your 30th birthday. And
yeah, I'll talk about that.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But like I dreaded my 30th birthday and all of my 30s birthdays. I was just like, ugh. So
you should talk about that in therapy.
I probably should. I'm gonna bring that up. But yeah, I don't know. There was something about my 30th birthday and then all of the subsequent birthdays that I was just like, I'm not ready for this. I feel like I'm getting old, but I'm stuck in my 20s. Like I don't know. It was interesting. My 40th birthday was very special because what's funny is I don't actually remember what we did for my 40th birthday. I think my sister was up here.
Yeah.
And my 40th was special because I didn't think that I was going to make it to my 40th.
Yep.
I got very sick in December when I was 39. So 2 months after I turned 39, I got very sick, and I was very sick through quite a bit of that year, and I didn't think that I was going to make it to 40. And so when I did, it was very special, and I met my sister at the airport. I think she came in either on my birthday. I feel like she came in on my birthday, and I just gave her the biggest hug and cried because I was just like, I didn't know if I'd ever see her again. And I was just very sick. And so I at that point I was better. But, there was a big chunk of the year that I didn't think I was going to make it to my 40th. And so that was very special.
Pretty good ones.
Yeah.
So how do you feel currently? Like you said, 43, turning 44 in about 6 months. You're just about to your half birthday. How are you feeling about birthdays now?
Well, I say this to you all the time. We can't grow old together if we don't grow old.
Yep.
And so now I'm kind of at the point where I just, birthdays just mean I made it another year. And I think that's special. So, I do know a lot of people I went to high school with that have not.
Yeah.
Not so many people. And, I had a small class, and there's just a lot of them that are not still alive. And so that's rough.
Isn't that an interesting thing? It's funny you mention that, because I was thinking about that just the other day, kind of thinking about my 45th birthday. And even over the last year or two, the number of classmates that have passed away. Mm-hmm. And it's just like, it feels like every year more get added to that list.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I mean, it's super cliche, but the reality is that we don't know that we have another year or another month or another tomorrow.
Right.
And it feels like the importance of making the most of the time that we have, especially as we see more and more of our friends not making it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think for me, when I think back about birthdays that stand out to me, and mine are for very random reasons. I remember my 9th birthday, I got a Tiffany cassette. Okay, we don't have to do that. And a cassette of the artist Tiffany. Many of you will know her. I Think We're Alone Now. Come on.
Doesn't seem to be anyone around.
There doesn't seem to be anyone around. And for whatever reason, that gift always stood out to me. In fact, there's a photo of me getting that cassette as a gift at that birthday party, and I am just like glowing.
For those of you that are like under 30, a cassette was what we used to listen to music on.
Great. Now I feel old. Now I feel even older.
They're like, what's a cassette?
So I remember that. I don't remember what age birthday it was, but I had a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and I don't remember the age. I don't even remember who was there, but I remember I was given an inflatable raft as a gift, and I only remember using it a couple of times, but I just remember thinking, it's going to sound so weird. I remember thinking that was such like a grown-up gift. Like, oh my gosh, I could take my own raft out on a lake. It was almost like a first car. It was my first mode of transportation. It was like this probably cheap inflatable raft I was given.
Can I inject for just a second?
Sure.
That was at Chuck E. Cheese. I had my 19th birthday at Chuck E. Cheese.
Okay, so I will guarantee mine was not 19. It was probably like a child's birthday, as most others at Chuck E. Cheese are.
I was in college, and we walked across the street from our college to the Chuck E. Cheese with all my friends, and we just had a little Chuck E. Cheese night for my birthday.
And if you watched the vlog we put up on Friday, where we go through this box of memories my mom gave me, one of the things we came across in there was this photo album from my 13th birthday. Mm-hmm. And my mom, so in 13, I was in junior high school. I was going to Romney Junior High School, and my mom rented a limo to pick my friends and I up from school. And I think we went and got pizza and went, I don't know, somewhere else. But it was such and limos back then were very different than limos today. I feel like I don't hear or see about limos anymore.
Yeah, not much.
But do you guys remember back in like the 80s and 90s?
It was like the fanciest thing.
Oh, I remember the first time I saw the inside of a limo and thinking like, this is how the rich people live.
Absolutely.
And so a limo picks me up at junior high school with a group of, my nerdy friends. and we go and get like pizza. And what's funny is
you're in like sweatpants and a t-shirt.
I was just going to say that. And so like looking through those photos, I was in a pair of sweatpants and a t-shirt. And it's like, okay, good job, Adam. Way to dress up for your 13th birthday.
So funny.
But you know what's really cool? And I guess I hadn't thought about this before, that my mom is the one who made that happen. And I don't know how much limos were, but we didn't have a ton of money growing up. Mm-hmm. And just like the sacrifice she must have had to make so that I could have that memory that I still talk about 32 years later.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So
we're both struggling to math here. We're like
can I get a pencil, a piece of paper, please? And you carry the one. And so I remember that one. What's interesting is I don't remember my 18th birthday. I don't remember my 20th birthday. I don't remember my 21st birthday. I do. Isn't that strange? Mm-hmm. I do remember my 30th birthday. This was a really special one. It may have actually been my most special birthday.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think so. Because it was so... it was the biggest birthday curveball. So... you guys know Sherry Beth is not, I mean, definitely an introvert. And I'm normally the one to pull surprises on her, but she pulled the most amazing surprise party. I still have no clue how you did it. A
lot of help.
I walked into this room at my mom's house. She had like a detached garage, and I walked in, and it was packed with people.
And it was like 3 or 4 days before your birthday, which also happened to be kind of around Easter.
Yep.
And so I basically just said, hey, we're going to your mom's house. It was like a Saturday, I think, or a Sunday, or it was a weekend. And I said, hey, we're going to go to your mom's house for like an Easter dinner, kind of an early Easter dinner, because on Easter, for whatever reason, it wasn't working. And so, like, I don't remember why, like, what lie I told you, but I made up some excuse of, like, why we were going to your mom's house.
And it totally checked out because of the time of year. And so I walked into this room, and you guys, Sherry had gotten hold of friends of mine from high school that I hadn't seen in over a decade. She had gotten hold of, I mean, people from all aspects of my life. And I just remember thinking, how did you do this? How did I not know this was happening? And it just meant so much to me because I knew that you had gone out of your comfort zone
for sure
to do something that you knew would mean a lot to me.
I had to talk to a lot of strangers.
You had talked to a lot of strangers. And and the fact that they all showed up, and the fact that I felt so seen and loved. Like that if nobody had brought any gifts to that party, that was the best gift. Like walking into that room. That was absolutely amazing.
You were like shocked. Like you were speechless. There are very few times in your life that you don't have words. That was one of them.
Nothing like that.
It took you a few minutes to like.
Nothing like that had ever been done for me. And I couldn't figure out like how you did it. Like how. The thing that was confusing to me is I didn't know how you even knew who some of those people were.
Do you want to know?
Yeah.
15 years later, I'll tell you my secrets. I went through your Facebook, and I literally, like, you know, we had been friends for a long time. We were friends for 7 years before we even met in person. And, you know, we had been married for a while. Like, it, you know, I had heard names, and so I went through your Facebook.
Gosh.
And I pulled out names that I recognized you talking about previously. And I messaged them and said, hey, this is Adam's wife, Sherry. He's having a 30th birthday. It's a surprise party. I would love for you to be there. If you can think of any other people who you think should be there, that were, you know, important in his life around your time.
Yeah.
Would you please reach out to them as well, or give me their names and I'll reach out to them.
Crazy.
So that's what I did. I got names from your mom. I got names from your stepmom and your dad. Like, and so I had kind of a list of names to start with.
Yeah.
And then I went through your Facebook and pulled out more and just sent messages.
And it was like walking into a room filled with memories from the last 30 years of your life and faces that like you haven't seen. And and I just remember all of the conversations that night or that day. Like that was the best birthday.
I mean, and that was the first time I met those people too. Like I literally just reached out to them on Facebook and I was like, hey, you don't know me, but I would love for you to be there. And I mean, so I was like, hey, thanks for coming. Who are you? Like this is, yeah.
It's super cool. You know what's funny is do you remember the first thing I said at that birthday party?
No.
So because you told me it was an Easter dinner, we were responsible for bringing a salad.
Right.
And so I had a bowl of salad that we had brought.
Well, I had to bring something.
Thinking that it was just going to be like you, me, my mom, dad, Susan. And so I walked into my mom's like the studio. She had this detached garage and it's packed with people. And what I said was, I didn't bring enough salad.
Well, and so even then, like, so your mom lived on a pretty small street at that time. And so parking was also going to be an issue with all of these people that were coming. And so I think your mom actually talked to the church that was right across the street and said, hey, can we use your parking lot? So that it wouldn't be weird, because if you had pulled up and the street was lined with cars, you would have been like tipped off.
Red flag.
And so like, but if there's a bunch of cars in the parking lot of the church, you're not really going to think about it.
Yeah.
There's probably a potluck. There's something going on in the church.
Totally. And so, like, yeah, that was the biggest surprise.
Lots and lots of planning for that one.
Oh, I'm sure. And then we've talked about this a lot recently, but my birthdays for the last several years have just been an absolute crap show. And
Yes.
so my 40th birthday, we were supposed to go to Fiji. The world shut down because of COVID. And so Fiji trip gets canceled.
And it's me and Missy and you for your birthday.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to be around anybody else.
But here's the thing. Even in that, you gave me one of the most, and this is interesting because you are, you talk about how you don't think you're a good gift giver. But I think when it comes to like thoughtful gifts, you are. So for my 40th birthday, because the Fiji trip got canceled, you kind of did the same thing. You reached out to dozens and dozens of friends.
Yeah.
And you said, hey,
all over the world.
all over the world. You're like, for Adam's 40th birthday, would you just like, what did you even tell them?
I just said, and again, this is all like the world shut down 2 weeks before your birthday.
That's right.
And so like, I didn't have a ton of time to like throw this together because originally we were going to have some kind of like party, and, kind of get together type thing. And obviously that wasn't going to happen. And so I was like, okay, pivot real quick. And so I just started like emailing and Facebooking, honestly, a lot of people. And I just said, hey, with the world shut down, Adam, his 40th birthday is coming up and it looks like it's just going to be us because we're not allowed to socialize. So could you send a video telling, just saying things you appreciate about Adam or a special memory or something, just some kind of short little video, and I'm going to compile it.
You guys, this ended up being an over 40-minute video. And if you can imagine sitting down and watching 40 minutes of the people who mean the most to you in the world, again, from all like eras of your life, telling you the most amazing things, I was like...
You were a teary ball mess.
Here's the thing, not just teary. There were times it was like almost like full on weeping.
Yeah, we had to pause it a few times.
Because it was just so emotional. In some ways, I think the gift in that to me was that I feel like those are the kind of things that people sometimes only get said about them at their funeral. And I sort of felt like that the gift to me was that I got to hear what people would say about me when I'm gone.
Yeah.
And it was just like the greatest video. Like that is still one of the best gifts ever.
And then I just compiled it in like GarageBand or iMovie. Yeah. iMovie. I just like stuck them all together with like transitions and was like, all right, well, here we go, hit play.
And so even a birthday where like the world was shut down and we canceled everything, there was still like this amazing gift in it. Then my 41st birthday,
I was very sick.
Sherry was very sick, like verge of death, starting to get better though. And then I had COVID my 42nd birthday.
Yeah.
My 43rd birthday, I was with my mom. She had just been diagnosed with cancer. Things were really bad. And so I was with her. And so it's just been kind of like, I don't know, just like bummer.
I think you were with her on your 44th as well.
Was I? I don't remember. And so...
Because we did the podcast with her.
Oh, that's right. We did the podcast with Mom. Did we not call her for that? Were we with her?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah, I think we called her for that one.
It could be.
And so this year I get to spend 45 in Talkeetna with my lovely wife.
Actually kind of celebrating your birthday.
Actually kind of... Well, here's the thing, Sherry. The way the last several birthdays are gone... like knock on the wood paneling because we still got a day and a half for the world to fall apart.
Oh no, don't say that.
Oh my gosh.
Don't put it out there.
What if the volcano went off?
Oh crap.
What if the volcano went off and that was my 45th birthday?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me, but I'd be like, for real?
Oh my goodness. So I want to end the podcast, and many of you will have heard me talk about this a lot. I talk about it on vlogs. I think I might have even talked about it in the podcast. So I love birthdays. I love birthdays. I love birthdays of everybody. If you're ever having a birthday party, invite me. If I can make it, I'll be there.
Yeah.
And the reason I love them is that so much of life, we celebrate people for what they do or what they accomplish or things like that. But a birthday, we celebrate you just because you exist.
Yeah.
And I don't think that happens enough. I think that we all need to be reminded that our existence is reason to celebrate.
Right.
It's not all about what we've done. It's not all about what we've accomplished. It's not all about our achievements. It's not all about our milestones. Like, the fact that you're here today is worth celebrating. And to me, that's what birthdays are. And so I just love that every single person in the world, no matter their situation, no matter the quality of life, no matter the current circumstance, every single person, there's a day that we get to celebrate just because they're here.
Yeah.
And that's why I think birthdays matter so much. That's why I love them so much, is that I don't know, I think I'm the kind of person that loves celebrating people already.
Yeah.
And then, like, on their day, oh my God, like, yes, let's have cupcakes. Like, yes, please.
We also just love cupcakes or cake, and like any reason to eat cupcakes or cake. And so
I don't know. I love birthdays. They mean a ton to me. And I think they mean a ton to me because I just love people and I love celebrating people. And what better day than the day of their birth?
Yeah.
Friends, there you go. The Birthday Memories Podcast. Sherry and I very much disagree on cakes. I will say it's funny because very rarely would we ever go to the store and get a cake because we just have such different tastes.
Yeah, we go to the store and get like the individual slices of cake.
And the thing is that I never want a bite of your slice of cake, and you never want a bite of my slice of cake.
No, which works out really well.
It actually does work out well. Because mine is normally something with coconut. And yours, to me, is like...
usually vanilla with vanilla frosting and like sprinkles.
I was going to say, it might as well be a cracker. not sweet enough at all for my teeth.
Perfectly sweet.
Whatever. You guys, we love you. Thanks for listening. And
Happy birthday, love.
Thank you so much. I'm excited for this weekend, as long as the volcano doesn't go off. Friends, we love you so much. We'll see you next week on the LeggLife Podcast. Bye.